Many indicators for concussion recovery are subjective. Autonomic dysfunction in concussed individuals can lead to difficulty tolerating exercise. However, aerobic exercise has been shown to yield positive effects on recovery time and reduction in symptoms. These individuals experience increased partial pressure of CO2 levels, which increases cerebral blood flow, leading to exercise intolerance. Blood flow restriction training allows improvement in aerobic capacity at lower exercise levels by trapping metabolites and restricting venous outflow during exercise. By exercising under conditions of low oxygen, sympathetic activity, mean arterial pressure, and cardiac output increase to restore blood flow. Evidence shows that blood flow restriction training does not further raise partial pressure of CO2 or cerebral blood flow. PLR shows parasympathetic and sympathetic responses to exercise. By looking at these variables, we can look at how BFR engages the autonomic nervous system. Pupillometry has been shown to be altered in those with concussions. Our study will evaluate pupillometry pre and post exercise with and without BFR in healthy individuals. BFR at low percentage of VO2 max may promote signal pathways in the brain that are typically achieved at high aerobic workloads. Our goal is to establish baseline autonomic activity during aerobic exercise with and without BFR to help design aerobic protocols for recovery after concussion.
An overview of the problem is that there are typical autonomic disturbances seen in individuals suffering from acute post-concussion syndrome, which adversely affect aerobic exercise tolerance and ability to recover from bouts of exercise. If our hypothesis is true, it would provide early evidence for a beneficial modulatory effect of BFR on autonomic response to aerobic exercise, which further studies could apply to individuals with history of concussion. BFR is a blood pressure cuff that inflates and fully constricts the limb it is applied on, then resets to 80% occlusion when the user normally does some form of exercise with the cuff on. The cuff lowers the blood and oxygen flow to the area, which will elicit a sympathetic response. Sympathetic and parasympathetic responses during exercise. The lack of knowledge is that there is developing evidence that suggests the importance of aerobic exercise, but there's a hole in knowledge in the optimal dose and protocol on exercise with patients diagnosed with concussion. Our population of interest is otherwise healthy, athletic individuals with a history of concussion that wish to return to exercise post-concussion. The importance of the problem is knowing the dosage of aerobic exercise after concussion.
The purpose of the study is to investigate the changes in pupillometry measurements in subjects before and after exercise under two conditions. One being walking on a treadmill without blood flow restriction, and the second one would be walking on a treadmill with blood flow restriction. There is evidence that supports aerobic exercise after concussion, but there's limited knowledge on the parameters for aerobic rehabilitation for post-concussion patients.
The independent variables of this study is the BFR cuff. The dependent variables is the dilation size, velocity of dilation, and the recovery time to baseline. The study wants to see if the addition of blood flow restriction during exercise changes pupillometry metrics in the subjects.
The hypothesis of this study states the initial dilation size will be bigger after exercise in both groups. This is due to the expected sympathetic response during exercise, noting that condition 2 will have a significant size difference. Additionally, it is hypothesized that the exercise, including the use of BFR, will show an increased velocity of dilation and constriction along with a faster recovery time back to baseline.
If our hypothesis proves true, then it would provide an avenue for further research that could establish BFR as a safe and effective intervention for reintroducing aerobic exercise in individuals suffering from autonomic symptoms of post-concussion syndrome.
All right, so condition 1, the people are going to be on the treadmill and they're not going to have BFR, while condition 2 will be on the treadmill with some BFR.
I'm here at the studio, the PT clinic trial studio, with the director of this study. I'm a participant, and I've got a blood pressure cuff on my leg. Look at that. And I'm doing some aerobic exercise. I don't have a concussion, because if you did, you are excluded from this study. So we're trying to see how my nervous system, my autonomic nervous system, responds to exercise. We're gonna up the speed here a little bit. Okay, how do I? And say hi to Dr. Carson. He's supervising my study. Oh. And yeah, so basically right now we're at a workload. It's pretty low, but according to these researcher guys, we can get my autonomic nervous system going as if I was like going really hard without going really hard because of this blood flow restricted on my calf. So with that being said, if their hypothesis proves true, maybe they can use this to help people that have had concussions, which isn't me. But that's what we got going on right now. Yeah. So now Dr. Carson is looking at my pupil size. He's taking the post-exercise measurements to see how much it dilated and or constricted in response to the exercise. And he told me that that is a measure of basically my autonomic response to the exercise. So that's pretty cool. Smash that like and subscribe button and leave a comment below.
Hey, it's Savannah here with, what's your name?
I'm Patrick.
Hey, Patrick. So I'm actually not doing what Austin was doing. I'm doing no blood flow restriction, so
Yeah, no squeeze.
my group's gonna win. Actually, I hope not, because then the hypothesis wouldn't be proven true. So anyway, peace out.
Go.